They warned my wife when she started dating me, run from this guy. You're thinking too small, because if you're getting business based on that friggin' watch, you're out of your mind. Microphone, is that cool?
Yeah. Well,
Good morning.
I have this one, so.
Sophie and I like to use the word global success. You know, I was one that was always a taker, and I was very desperate in life. And I truly believe desperate and urgent, they're cousins, no question about it. But they behave so differently, and they both have different outcomes. And I realize the negativity of being desperate. So, and I want to mention something that, you know, being here with you guys are awesome. And Ryan and Amy, it's just a great pleasure to be involved in your ecosystem. You're somebody that I'm not only appreciative to get to know you more and more, especially you, Ryan, because we spent a lot of time together. I'm proud of you. I'm really proud of you because each of us and everyone can grow. Growth is very, very powerful. So we're going to be speaking to about a lot of things, and just to fast track it a little bit so I can, you know, I want to talk to you as if I was listening, because that's the only way I can register. Value doesn't matter. Non-refundable minutes, having an outside lens to yourself versus an inside lens, understanding what it means to have this other amazing individual in your life. Take a visual, how that looks. Are you turning on or turning off the switch with your relationship? Are you a liability, an asset? These are all things that we can relate to, I think, because we're all business people. I've spoken to a lot of you, very impressive. And we're so passionate, and I know that for a fact because I was so passionate, but I was so desperate. I almost lost my marriage, not once, not twice, 3 times. 3 times from ignoring the obvious. And that was me, because I do believe we are our issues, our problems, but more so our solutions. Whether you like it or not, you can either choose to grow, because it's happening as I speak right now. If you just take and be present, we are growing. You cannot fight against that, because if you fight against that, you're never going to bring out the better version today. Tomorrow's different, yesterday was different. It's today. My goal today is to be a better version. And guess what, man? When you're part of the right momentum, I get a message from my daughter-in-law, Jen. She texts me maybe a couple hours ago. Hey, there's somebody that is in Cabo. He's here on vacation with his family. And I know you, Bobby. She knows her future father-in-law. And I know you're going to want to say hi to him. He's 21 years old. He dropped out of school like I did. I only got to the 9th grade. And he really thinks great things about you, and you're touching his life. That was that gentleman, some of you seen, that young man out there. And it feels so good when you can give value to others. It's awesome, it's so powerful, because we all like impact, I know I do. But the person that's so darn close to you, they get some of the heartburn from us. We don't want to listen to them, and they see it, they see what's going on, but I would rather listen to this person or that person versus the person that was telling me all the same things for so many years. Yes. For so many years, I ignored it, but seeking validation elsewhere versus my ecosystem. Sophie and I are on a canoe, and if we rock the canoe flips. Sophie came up with something some years ago when we started getting our act together and started aligning ourselves, and we'll get into that clarity. If it doesn't cause or reason for a divorce, do not feed momentum to it, because whatever you focus your energy to, it guarantee only one thing happens: it grows. And we can just go ahead, and it's not what we say, it's how we say it. We can say things wrong, momentum starts picking up, words being said, it gets so rough and tough, week goes by, 4 days, no sex, and if there is sex, it's not the real good sex. So many things have an invoice with what I'm describing to you. I'm just illustrating some examples. So non-refundable minutes. So every time we choose, because you are choosing to argue with your life partner. Your life partner that is on the same mission as you. And instead of you suffocating, Bobby, Sophia's identity as an individual and prevent her growth, and you don't align what you want in life to make sure under that household we all are in alignment. It's just not about me, I. It's about we and about us. And the reason I'm getting a little bit into that, it'll lead you to global success. For global success, Sophie and I, it's financial freedom. Not just financial freedom, generational freedom. We sold a company that her amazing mother lent $1,700 to us. After I burned so many bridges with so many mistakes, there was one person there. Dixie. We started a business, we needed $1,700, and back in the day, those awesome individuals, everything was in their bra. The 100 keys of every 1,000 doors, cash, a beeper, this was back in the day, everything, and everything they owned, her parents, which was give or take just under $1,700. I don't speak Spanish, even though my last name is Castro. My mother's Irish and Jewish, my dad Puerto Rican. She had no clue, but she's seen something in me called change. I was changing for the better, and you can't deny change. Your partner will obviously see it. Stevie Wonder can see it. It's undeniable, real change, not pretending change. I used to be the biggest flash dancer. When I was a waiter, and I only got through the 9th grade, my mother was a waitress. Before Denny's, it was Sambo. She was a waitress all her life, 2.5 jobs. And I followed the footsteps. Got my first job when I left school after the 9th grade, which back then was junior high. I went to Pasquale's. She got me a job. I used to see the flash dancers. What's on their wrist?
Yeah,
what's
tell
on
them
their
what
neck.
flash dancers is. They probably
Well, we'll
don't
get
even
into
know.
the flash dancers. They're going to get it. After I describe a flash dancer, you're obviously going to know what a flash dancer is. I can assure you of that. And maybe you're one. Maybe you have a little bit of that. And that's good. Because if you can say that is the case, you're growing. So, flash dancer is that awesome car, that loud personality, that me, I, just that rock star. I wanted to be that. I was obsessed. And guess what? I was that. I became that. I became that so much that my life was worse than what you see today in crypto. That looked like the S&P. My life was just crazy, like we can all relate to that, I'm sure. That I thought I was getting rich, but I was simply a hamster on the wheel, and I was totally lost in life. So lost. I have a lot of dysfunctional stuff in my family. My father couldn't make it work with one relationship. He actually he had 15 kids. We were broke, no electricity, lived on Section 8, and he would just keep having kids. With this one, doing that, and I witnessed it all without actually registering until later on. The problem was everybody else, but not Lewis. It was her versus my dad. I actually witnessed it, and guess what? I was starting down that path, duplicating it. And I can assure you, each of us, man, leather, it builds on us. And the thicker it gets, the harder it is to cut. The sooner you can get to that, the sooner you'll be better today. So my awesome wife, we built a business together. We started the business together. Her mother gave us the money. We sold that business, took us $1,700 and sold it for $1 billion 3 years ago. Before we sold that business, we have something called stack and rack. You simply mindful with your money. We talked about that today. We had a great conversation. And you rack them into investments called legacy assets. You know, this is long-term thinking. This is where you cannot be that flash dancer. If you're a flash dancer, you're not going to understand what I'm saying. Non-refundable minutes, man. I was simply investing it to be like him, her, and I can never get that minute back. And I was good. I was good connecting with people. My sales ability was really good. I quickly got to 100,000, quickly got to 200, quickly to 5, quickly to 1 million, and maybe, I'm guessing, peaked at 3 million. And why it's peaked, when something peaks, it's not sustainable. And in my marriage, it wasn't going to be sustainable on my strategy. I was sucking the air out of her identity, and I was switching the light switch off instead of on. Nobody wants to be with a partner, an intimate partner, a life partner, building a business, aligning everything somehow, some way, because we get 70,000 thoughts enter our mind every day. And the only thing I cared about was what people thought of me, that I had money. Yeah, I made $1 million. Yeah, I made it $2 million. But you know what? I was really broke, because you know when you're broke, you got to go back to work on Monday. And Tuesday, yeah, you can take a month off, but you got to go back. We talked about that. You got to go back. I almost destroyed the most amazing individual that is responsible for what we have today. Not only our financial outlook, but how we align. And all along, guys, she was, for some reason, patient. I even asked her, why were you so patient with me? How come you just didn't run? They warned my wife when she started dating me, run from this guy. Run as fast as you can. And they were 100% right. I was duplicating this dysfunctional family pattern that I grew up in. Then I decided to take responsibility. I said, enough. I am abusing my life. I never did drugs, nothing like that. And I do believe that we can become addicted, just like somebody on heroin, crack, procrastination, ego. I always say an ego's not your amigo. You can be destroying your lives and everything around it. And I'm just not picking on the guys. It's obviously opposite too. And sometimes how you recognize that, take a visual lens of how you are with your partner, which apparently is everything, because we building this company together, we started it together, and then guess what? It became a Bobby Castro show. There was no enterprise value. In business, we talked about it, and you want to build enterprise value. We talked about that, how important it is, so it's not about me, me, I. Well, guess what? My marriage was all about me, me, I. I was destroying it. Somehow, some way, something happened to me in life. I walk out again living with my in-laws because of this just radical life. I'm walking out on a weekday because I was in a pity potty situation that I try to start something really quick, and I would respond to anything. Give me $1 million next month. I would respond to it, and when it doesn't work out, a weekday I'm not working, guys, at her parents' house. This amazing individual working, not only working, after work, she was picking up our daughter, just a peewee, in a black Mustang that was given by her parents. Had no air conditioning, actually had reverse fumes in the Mustang. And I'm walking out of her parents' house, and this car pulls up, that black Mustang, with this incredible individual in the driver's seat, and that amazing child I have, Priscilla, who's 31 years old today. And they're both glowing at me. Peach red, because there's so much humidity in South Florida. That day, I remember it, that day was everything for me. That day, I said, you know what? I got to get my stuff together before I think about growing my business, starting a business, getting my mind right, getting a freaking job. That day, that week, I got a job at the Rusty Pelican in Key Biscayne, and I knew I was ready. Because guess what? Remember those flash dancers? I used to hang out with them too. I was actually the leader. I was leading those flash dancers. I wanted to be the flash dancer. I got into the flash dancer circle, and then I became the gang leader. I mean, I succeeded. And I cared about what you thought. You had to think I was doing well. That's all that mattered. I didn't care about her. I wasn't even paying attention to my children, my child at that time. I only cared about you. I get a job. And you know when I was ready? I waited on tables with a big party. It was like 10 or 12 people having a great time. And I knew about half of them. And I didn't care. I didn't care. I was the best server like my mother. I was giving them the best service. Something happened that I surrendered, and that day changed my life. Today we sit on a $500 million personal conservative net worth. We have never borrowed any money, no investors. We built nearly an $800 million real estate portfolio that gives me and my family, just me and my awesome life partner, $500,000 a month, no tax implication, just that one unit. including it feeds handsomely to my children, their partners. They can go ahead and invest along with some other things. And how it all happened is when one of us, the most weakest one, surrendered. I started compromising. I started taking that outside lens. I became a turn on. Because that was my job. My mission was my life partner. You'll hear me say that a lot. I don't use wife, it's my life partner. Yes, she was loyal. Yes, she could have left me. No. I'm so beyond that. My life partner. I had to get it right. I had to succeed because a lot of us think that I fell in love with her right when I first saw her in Lejeune Road in Miami. We all say, oh, I fell in love with Anna. As soon as I saw Anna, that was it. It was over. Okay. I believe you have to continue falling in love. You got to continue evolving because guess what? This other individual is growing, and if you're about me, I can never allow her growth and also receive value from it. So then we got ourselves act together. We have a 100-year legacy plan that includes a lot of estate planning, how we carry ourselves. We work with a great team. We work with Dr. Orlando that comes in and visits our children, even our grandchildren involved in this plan. Because a stat says when you sell that software company for a huge amount of money, I have no doubt you will, so much, dude, I was excited about it. I was hoping you were looking for an investor. You know, it's enterprise value. So what I did was I wanted to create value in my relationship. See, I needed to work more. I used to blame Sophie on everything. She was the blamer for everything. And one of you, you're like that, whether you like it or not. I've gotten pretty good of not pretending, but actually seeing the value that of my life partner, and I get so freaking turned on. I get so wound up that it gets me a little freaky. It gets excited. That's how much I keep falling in love. But I make an effort to it because if I allow her, and if you allow your partner to grow, take an outside lens, allow it, don't force nothing. Because guess what? We have all this financial freedom. We have a 31-year-old, Priscilla, and her awesome husband who's going to be around 8 years of marriage. They have 2 amazing grandchildren of ours, Ocean who's 6, Oakley who's 4. We have a son who's 26. He's getting married to Jen June 24th next year. More so, everyone's healthy, mentally and physically. We have no reason to be together other than we want to. We, us, we. Now, where are we at today? And I'll allow Sophie to share that. I want to challenge you as we get deeper in this conversation, each and every one of you, including me, man. I have to revert sometimes. And how I catch myself, am I turning her on or turning her off? And I'm talking about a deeper level. Am I being overwhelming? Am I being the me, I? Is the business all about because of me we're winning, because of this, and I come home and I'm not willing to share with my life partner. I'm not willing for us to build it together, for us to be alignment. I don't get distracted. I have very little friends because how I feel, man, it's about my legacy, what we're doing that's going to impact our family so they don't get that leather that I grew up on. You have that opportunity to do the same thing for your children, your nephews, your marriage.
Well, hello, everybody. I'm Sophia. I know I've met most of you, but not all of you. First of all, I want to know how many of you couples here work in the same business or are together building something?
Who else partners here?
Okay. So, okay. And how many of you have different careers but are career goal? Like you have a career, you're doing something. Okay, and how many of you are a housewife? Okay, so the reason why I'm asking, it's not to judge any of you, I just want to see so that you can understand, no matter if you're building something together, you have separate careers or you're a housewife, at the end of the day, all of us as couples need to have a goal of where your business and your life want to be? Where do you want to be at? Because if you don't have that vision together, and it doesn't need to be, that's why I was asking, it doesn't need to be that you're together. Me and Bobby happen to be that we've built our empire together, but you don't need to be in the same career business. Housewives, I applaud you. I think housewives work harder than we do. I cannot be a housewife, never have been able to. I tried it, it was not my personality. I can't do it. So I applaud all of you, because taking care of your children, of your household, is a 24-hour, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. You have no break. So I get it and I applaud you. I think it's amazing. And the husbands that have a housewife, they should respect them more than anything that you can ever imagine, because it is a hard job to do. So congratulations for wanting to be a housewife. But the reason why I'm saying this, it is very important in order to be able to build an empire, like what Bobby and I have been able to accomplish would have never been able to happen. We went through up and downs. Like Bobby said, we probably tried to get divorced 2 or 3 times. So it's not easy. It's a lot of work, right? But what I think kept us keep on going, trying to get our marriage together, and luckily it's been, God, I think over 15 years that we've been in such a good spot in our relationship, and it's been amazing. Now it's just, you know, we don't even really argue. Of course we have disagreements, but no arguments. But I'm gonna give you 3 things that helped us be able to get where we're at in our life today. And we still work very hard at it. It's not easy, guys. It's not that we're perfect, by no means. We still have a lot of things that are not perfect, and we just work at them. But number 1 is communication. If you do not communicate, and I am talking about the good, the ugly, the bad, the dislikes, the wants, the needs. I am talking about communicating about everything, and I'm personal and business. When I talk about these 3 things and I'm explaining what they are, you need them in both, because one thing that we have realized in being in business, even with our employees, that if you're not good at home, I don't care how good you are at what you're doing in your career, you cannot be good, because your home life inside, whether you see it or not, is distracting you from being able to be your best at what you're really good at. So they're so communicating together, business and your home life it's so important to be balanced on it, because you cannot get nowhere without it. So communicating, we spoke today a little bit in the morning, how she just doesn't feel, Ryan doesn't want to be a business owner, doesn't need that. It's not something that she thrives. Her happy space is being able to be peace inside of her, being with her children, being home. That's her balance. That's great. That's amazing, right? So she needs to communicate that with her husband, because there's some husbands that don't like you not to work or not to be part of whatever they're doing, right? It's all about, I want you to be what I want or whatever. It's important to communicate whatever it is, whatever you want, whatever you need. You know, Bobby and I have such different personalities. I know people think that Bobby is this, wow, he's wild, he has so much energy. Yeah, he's energy when he's in business. Stage, this is his place, he shines, he's very energetic. But Bobby doesn't like to have a lot of friends. Bobby's an introvert when it comes to being at home. He doesn't like socializing. I'm a social butterfly. You put me anywhere I want to be, I have FOMO. I need to be where the action is at. Give me action, I need it. It fills my soul.
Because you recognize your weakness, and my weakness is influence. I'm very weak at it. If I put myself in an environment, in an area, remember I told you about crack, heroin, all that, same concept as behavior. I am very vulnerable to influence with the wrong friends. I know my weakness. I'm so alert of it. And Bobby, so that means you're not happy because that's really what you want. No. Remember, I was a flash dancer. You can always revert back to the things that have been blocking you all along, because I've gotten it and it keeps growing every day, and I don't want to I want to grow more of that.
So communicating that at the beginning, that was very hard for us because I always want to be out. I always want to have friends around me. I want my family around me. I want to have parties all the time, right? We have different personalities. So communicating what fills me, what fills him, how do we come to the middle? How do we get balance in what we want? In business, Bobby is OCD. Bobby has a to-do list every single day. He wakes up at between 5 and 6 in the morning, and he has a list that he needs to get done before the end of the day. If that list is not done, Bobby's not stopping. He won't even have lunch. He won't go to the bathroom. He won't do nothing until that to-do list is done, right? Well, guess what? Sophia is not that way. I have ADHD, and I want to hop around all the office. I want to talk to all our employees. I want to know how your day is doing. I want to know what you're doing. So I am all over the place, right? But that's my personality. I get my list done when I want to get my list done. I get it done, but Bobby didn't like that, right? He would always like, you didn't get your list done. That means that you're not doing nothing, right? Well, guess what, Bobby? You're you, I'm me. We communicated about this. You have to understand my personality. So communication and balance is a must on everything, business and personal. You have to communicate, because if you don't, there's no way. How do you know what your partner likes or not wants or needs? What do they need to fill their soul, right? So important, business and personal communication, number one. Number two is, how do you compromise with a situation like this? I'm just gonna talk about Bobby and I, because it's what we've been through and how we were able to get it done. Everybody's gonna have a different way of doing it. It's just the way that Bobby and I have done it. So how do we compromise with these things? Well, we started learning. How do we compromise? Okay, Sophie, this is your responsibility. This is Bobby's responsibilities. So I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna talk about something that I spoke to B about, that is very important on compromising, on how do you balance these things out, is having your own lane. You all have a goal at the end of the road, and you have to build a highway, and you're gonna go the same direction. That highway needs to be only one path, and it's gonna be the path to get to your goal. You stay in your lane, I stay in my lane. We're gonna hold hands together, and we're gonna go the same way. And if you fall, I'm gonna be right next to you. I'm gonna pick you up, and we're gonna continue going. But if Bobby, like Bobby used to, come into my lane and crash into me, throw me down to the floor, guess what? I couldn't get over there. I'm injured. I can't. You crashed into me, right? So how can we get that way? So we were doing this. Sideways. We never could get to the end because we were going sides instead of going forward. So compromising with each other, balancing, is such an important part of these three things that we're going to talk about. When you fall, it's okay. We all fall. We learn from our failures. We learn that those we can't do again. So we failed doing this. How do we take that and learn how to do it correctly? So if you fall, it's okay. Just grab the hand, lift up, and let's keep on going. We need to keep on going forward, because if not, we can't get to our goal. You could have the biggest goal, but you can't get there in one day. It's impossible, and you can't do it alone either. So if you ever think that you want to get there, we tried that at the very beginning, and we failed so many times because we never knew that you needed to take these little steps, step by step, so that you could build a concrete foundation so that it could be solid by the time that you get to that goal. It's extremely important. The third one is romance. It's being sexy with each other. And in business, instead of being romantic, is giving appreciation, showing appreciation. So in the relationship part, in personal life, always telling your partner, God, babe, thank you so much for helping me do this. Or, you look really nice today. Wow, what a great job you did with XYZ. Oh, thank you for helping me with the children. Or vice versa. Whatever it is, giving each other love on a daily basis. Bobby and I work in the same office, and now we're working more than ever from home. And we're right next to each other, and we'll be sending each other a little cute text message like, anything. It could be sex talk, it could be cute talk, it could be just, hey, I'm sending you a kiss because I love you. Anything. It's just any little thing.
But more so, I'm glad you're on that. A lot of you follow data in our business. Data is crucial. Without data, you can't measure, you can't gauge, you don't even know where you're going, you don't even know where things stand. But a lot of us business owners, we take all these personality assessments on our employees that everything has to relate to this business. But a lot of us don't even use those personality assessments to better your relationship. Sophie and I, for example, DISC. I know exactly, because how I look at Sophie's DISC versus our employees, and we had over 1,000 employees. And what we're doing here, guys, FYI, start doing it within your ecosystem, because you start creating a culture, your business blossoms. You got to get really, somehow without violating, you got to get in that household. You know, because you're dealing with HR issues and all that, but what we go on, it's going on in their household, and it'll prevent your growth. So we started practicing. We hired a high-end coach. He coached the Amway family, the Duvalls, the Orlando Magic family and all that. How Sophie's really wired. So how I communicate and what type of text I say, do I not, I know not to be this or that, or just wait, because what I want to do is keep fertilizing it to turn that light switch on. Turn that light switch on. Because we belong to a group called R360. Well over $100 billion personal net worth, 81 families. Nice people. It's all about sharing like we're doing. We just turned down somebody who's highly recognized in the world, $22 billion net worth, because he wasn't willing to share. I can assure you, at the end of the day, all of you will make lots and lots of money. But at the end of the day, there'll be some regrets with that. What you want to do is catch this now. So what type of communication? It's a different form of communication. Okay, what do you want? No. It's a different way to communicate. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. And always remember, keep that light switch on. So the communication evolves so much that it's so exciting that we're into the legacy now. And it's so thrilling that we're doing it together. We built this business from day one, and I had no idea she was right there. Now I look at her, I just want to go back to the room. I love her, man. I want more of her. Now, guess what? Tomorrow, 2 days, that could fade. If I don't keep fertilizing like you guys do of your business. We talked about how you doing that quarter, that month. Man, we keep tune of it and we can't stop talking about it. But meanwhile, there's something that's foundation here that's very important not to lose focus of. I used to put money here, my relationship with Sophie here. I swapped it. And guess what? I can tell you guys, the money came. That'll come. That's a given. But our relationship, it just grows like an oak tree. It's solid. The foundation is great. I'm so open to communication. Our communication skill is just it's so healthy. That's exciting. It's not just talking about things. And some people stay with a relationship because they feel they have to, because they have kids. They have that. We went through that. No. You're just not being mindful of the foundation. Because if you don't build it by brick, it falls, man. It falls. You will fall. Is it sustainable? Why is this person in my life? What is the qualities of Sophie? Like, wow, man, I never knew about that. I never knew that Sophie liked that or this. And now she's blowing up in all her businesses besides ours. And I'm so excited for her. And I'm there not to put back pressure. She's excited for me. We're growing it now in a whole different element. This is a whole new stage Sophie and I are in. We have received a Hawaiian wave of financial freedom. Our marriage is great. But we know that can all change. We're in control of that. You keep falling in love. Just like you fall in love with that business, man. All of you are on that business. That's good. But the foundation is there.
Yeah, so one more last thing, and then I guess we could open up for question. I don't know, Ryan, how are we doing in time? We're good? Okay. So one thing that I want to, besides already saying, you know, the romantic thing, when you fall a little bit, you know, and again, we still do it. We still have our little, oh my God, you know, annoyed or whatever. It's going to always happen. But when you feel that way, remember always, why did you fall in love with that person? What did that person bring to the table that you were attracted to? And if there's sometimes, and I'm not saying that this is always the answer, because this could also bring you the answer to say, this is not the right person for me. Because if that person is stopping you from your growth, doesn't want to have your core values, doesn't want to help you get to your goals, that's not the person for you, okay? And can I pick on you, Ryan, a little bit, please? I loved it because really when me and Ryan were talking and we spoke just a little bit, but Reagan, I'm sorry, Reagan, it made me feel so like, wow, it really brought me like nice feeling when you told me that. For her feeling of wanting to be free and wanting to do what she wants to do when she wants to do it, it's wow. That's like really like such a nice feeling. But what happens, what's your name, I'm sorry? Marty, what happens if Marty tells her, I don't want you to do nothing. I don't want you to go be at home and be with the kids. That's not what I'm attracted to. Why do you want to be with a person that's not going to support your wants and your needs? What's going to really bring you happiness? Because at the end of the day, when you're happy and you're fulfilled inside, your spouse is going to be able to feel that and be able to get whatever, whether it's the man or the wife, whatever it is, be fulfilled themselves and have so much happiness within each other that your goals are going to be able to get fulfilled. Yep. So this is going to be for good and for bad. You know, when you do these three things, don't ever stay with a spouse because of, you know, children or whatever the case, because you need to be happy with inside yourself, fulfilled your soul, in order to get your empire built. And we've seen it, guys. We've seen it in our employees. And when those employees are not happy, top level employees cannot fulfill their goals at work, because at home, it's a disaster. So finding that spouse that complements you in whichever way it is, that's when you say, okay, wow, I am at 100%, and now let's go hit that goal. How are you guys, each partner, gonna help get there? That is so different between all of us here. I could guarantee you if we put a little paper and we try to write that down, it's gonna look so different with all of us, and there's no right or wrong. Whatever works for one person doesn't work for another. For me, for example, I can't be a housewife. I hate cleaning. I hate it. I don't like to be a mom to go take my kids to the park. But that doesn't make me a bad person. I give my children love in a different way. And they're 31 and 26, and we sit down and we talk about this right now. And we are expressing to each other what that meant to them when they were younger, of them having a nanny, and Bobby and I working all day. But Saturdays and Sundays, or during the week, I would go to all their activities of school or games. But I wasn't the mom that was going to take them to the park or to a play date with another friend. That was just not me, but it doesn't make me a bad person. I was there to create an empire that I wanted to be part of, to give them a generational wealth platform that's going to create legacy for our family. And that's where I want to be recognized at. But we're
because if you don't,
two
if you don't,
ones, right? But you still have a big part of it.
Yeah.
You know, we have so many expectations or ideas of what we think success is. And for me, like, I wasn't really a housewife, and I wasn't someone who wanted to work. I kind of worked for the universe.
Yeah.
And that's like a whole nother
Yep.
thing. And so it has been a blessing. I finally had to sit down and just be like,
Awesome.
this is who I am, this is what I do. If it's not enough, this is who I am. I can't be anything else.
I love it.
You know what I mean? But it is that honest truth about like, I felt I needed to be certain things in certain ways.
And sometimes we fall victim where we're kind of reserved, where we don't want to communicate that. to our partner, and then the partner is we're very sensitive and very reactive quickly, and we can blow that beautiful of a possible start of a conversation. I can assure you guys, at the end of the day, money's not gonna matter. I can't stress that to you. I know the zone, I'm in the zone every day, but I'm so conscious of what matters. It's so critical. It's so critical. Nobody else matters other than the ones that are right there to love, to be with. It doesn't matter. The money is going to come your way. If you want more of it, you want to create something, get your crap together under your household, and how you start, take an outside view urgently, and really view it. Don't view it, judge, okay, I got it. I know exactly what to do. No. Take an outside view. How am I with Sophie? I mean, what does she actually have to deal with? Am I doing more turnoffs? Because I'll tell you, this momentum, man, when we argue, you can have the smallest little argument. I don't know about you guys. And man, it floats, that little energy tension floats around for a few days. You can't explain it, but you both feel it. Talk about non-refundable minutes, and then 5 days later when it wears off, you're back. But guess what? You're back at the same starting point. Our job is to grow and keep falling in love. So I view myself because I can become overwhelming. As I go, I can really measure my RPMs really well. Sophie and I, together 33 years, sold the company for nothing for $1 billion. Before we sold the company, started learning from not being a flash dancer how to invest our money wisely, all that stuff. And it all came from communicating. And what was the communication? What was the outcome? What did it equal to, Bobby? Clarity. We wanted to appreciate each other so much to find out how much are we truly in love. And slowly comes, what do we now want? Legacy. We want to leave this mark to our children so they know how to treat money, what to do with money, how to impact the world, but more so how to treat each other. It's so important. That's a leader, man. A leader, you carry yourself. Because your kids, you think they're listening? 90% guys, at least for me, how I feel, but they're watching. They're watching each and every one of you. And let me tell you, we talked about it. We pick up those habits that we watch throughout the years. And I don't care what anyone says here. That's stuff you battle with 50, 60 years old to maybe, and it's a lot of pain there. A lot of pain. I can't emphasize, do not put money at your top of your list. I did it. Yes, I was able to make good money. I was just a hamster on the wheel. At the end of the day, it goes away, it comes away. It has so many personalities, you don't even know how to friggin' what to do with it, and then you're in the mix of it. But when I got myself together as a human being, and then saying, okay, man, this is what I want to be, Bobby. This is who really I am. And I found out I'm a kind person. And when I found that out, man, I started getting a lot of yeses. Yeses from her, yeses from customers, yeses from massive negotiations, yeses, because I was transparent. I was who I was, me. I didn't have that pressure of being somebody else. It's so important. So talking about it, get the comfort to say, hey, and how we're going to communicate. And then the most important, the key, the one that's starting the communication, rock star. The wild card is the one receiving. Receiving. And I beg you, hold back. Just don't shut up and think you're doing your job. Okay, I'm listening. I'm listening. No, that's not what I'm talking about. Taking a back seat, visually looking at Sophie and actually registering what she's saying and just really saying, why does she want to lie to me? We're both on the same canoe. She wants happiness as much as I do. We want health. We want everything great for our children. We want to be in love. I mean, this individual is really aligned with me. How come I can't bend and surrender and compromise? How am I complicating this? Because I think life is a lot simpler. You know, there's something that not so much Sophie with me, you know, God. It's kind of crazy, man. This God keeps making circles around me. I'm meeting people that has association with God. I don't know what I believe in, guys. I do believe in being kind, giving good energy. I'm still trying to register, is that God or not God? And why I say that is I'm growing. I'm growing, man. It's so exciting when you're growing, and she's excited for me as I'm excited for her. She's going through some other things like that, and we communicate. And we have these awesome conversations. So some of us, at least for us years ago, we would sit down, and if it wasn't about business, there was no meaningful conversations. That is a warning sign. That is something that I personally missed. I missed it, guys. I missed it. I missed it completely. And looking back, I beg people, man, where you start is right here. Right here with your life partner. If you're fortunate to have a life partner, I can assure you he or she wants the same beautiful outcomes, man. Your odds for that type of outcome increases when you have someone beside you and you march down shoulder to shoulder, not one in front of the other. This is too deep for most. Most will do this, but most won't practice it. I am begging you to practice it. We've been together for 33 years, married 32. Seems like we're scoring pretty good on that. Started a business, doing pretty good, sold a business for $1 billion. Did other investments, that check. So we're check marking. We're taking care of our bodies, our mind. We choose to be very aware of our influence and have some good discussions. We're loving our children, setting examples, and a lot of people call that winning, and it feels good. That's really winning. It's called 360, global success, not just the business. It's gonna happen, guys. You guys are rock stars. You can't help but score in business. It's an automatic, but the infrastructure is not sustainable. When you sell that business, like we did for $1 billion, many people don't stay together. When the kids get 31 years old, 26, grandkids, there's no reasons for us to stay together. That's the true test. I'm so fortunate that we got our act together. Years ago, like Sophie said, 15 years, we're in the Milky Way, man. It feels good. All these people it's cool if you want to do drugs, you want to do ecstasy, you want to do LSD, saying, yeah, I'm so freaking high. We're so freaking high on ourselves and our life. We don't need a narcotic. I don't need someone to tell me. I don't need someone to tell me how successful I am or you're such a great person. I know that inside. I absolutely know it inside. And just recently at 55 years old, how many times did I say I'm proud of myself? Three times in my life. 3 times, and most recently I did. Proud of myself for that young man that came here. Proud of myself of another young man that wanted to commit suicide that I didn't even know on social media, and I met him at the event later on. Just stuff like that I know I'm growing, man. Question is, are you growing? Yeah, Bobby, I'm knee deep, dude. I am in war right now. I am knee deep in business. I'm trying to keep up and put out this fire. I'm doing all that stuff. I get it. If you want to get through it, go to your life partner. Let your life partner help you. I can go down an alley with this theme because I lived it, and no one can convince me differently. I lived it here. I tried it every which way like my old man did. And then I had no other way but to try it here, and guess what all along? That was the Holy Grail. Yes, sir.
So with the nature of my business, whether it's for a client or an investor, we always have some sort of program or project that's going to roll out. And I really do truly enjoy what I do, so sometimes I don't comprehend that I need to disconnect. And that does cause issues between us and our 3-year-old. So, a lot of times, it's easy for me to have a 15 or 18-hour day because I really do love it. And then vice versa, because of the modern technology, a lot of my business I can run from my cell phone. So am I heading on my spending family time because I'm physically with them. But then a client texts me, a customer calls, or I get a notification that we closed the deal.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sitting next to them.
Yeah.
So I'm with my family.
Yeah.
But I'm not disconnected, or I'm still disconnected. So I know this is going to be communication and compromise, but like when you're, because again, it's always a project rollout or it's a program that's launching.
Yeah.
So we're in the thick of it. And it does do this. Like normally after we launch something, we'll go do a couple of days away and that's where I can, but other than that, it's all this constant hamster wheel of
Yeah, yeah.
our relationship's good because we have some downtime.
Yeah.
And it's like, babe, you understand what's going on? We got a project rolling out. Like, how do you?
Great question. We talked, it's going to be briefly what we talked about last night in the boat. This is so awesome, dude. So awesome for you to even ask that question. Business owners, in my opinion, and I've sat down with the KKRs, the Apollos, the Series, all of them. Scale. So I used to be that too. And then I used to take those 4 or 3 days off. Hey, babe, let's go in there, and think that was the repair job. Oh, we're going to disconnect for 3 or 4 days. You know, we all know that. So we talked a little bit last night, and it relates to the same question. This relates to your question today. Scale. It's all about me, I, me, I. You are so entrenched with the role of me, I that you're not building enterprise value because it's all about you, and that could be transitioning into your marriage. So what about you getting better individuals or an individual to take on some of that slack so you can be the leader and the CEO of your life to understand your role? See, a CEO, imagine a CEO of Walt Disney. That is, how do you do that with hundreds of thousands of employees? I want you to think of that. And then he or she has a family as well. So those times you're not thinking about how to get more time for what matters. How you do that, my solution to you, what we talked about last night, you have to now adjust some stuff to allow you to get a little bit off that crack, get someone in that seat, and guess what? Someone that's even better, just like Bobby did, took off, man. It took off. That's a starting point because I'm not going to lie to you, dude. You're not going to get off the crack in 24 hours from us talking it. But you can set yourself up to win, and you can be talking with your life partner about, hey, man, so it benefits everything. It benefits your business, i.e. generational wealth, and it benefits what matters the most. See how you're getting everything 360? You see how you do with your non-refundable minutes? A lot of people, and I'm going to relate it back to financing, so I'm sorry, focus on a get rich, get the Lambo, get the thing, get rich. The same energy and same non-refundable minutes, you can create enterprise value in your life, become financially generational wealthy, and more so have the most amazing relationship like you guys just met. You guys just met and you can't even get out of the car. You're just wild for each other. You got to work on the strategy in order to set yourself up because it doesn't happen without some adjustments, guys. And the adjustment comes from what he just said, a lot of our business. We can't turn it off. So how do we work smarter instead of harder? How do we become efficient? What do I need so I can pay some attention here? What you need to do? View outside. Just for a moment. It's going to take a few days. Really, a few days if you're really serious. And it's going to be hard even to get there. But if you really want it, you can get there. Take a real outside lens. Get even further back. And see the chaos that you're causing. See how you're blocking yourself from so much growth. See how that business is not scaling because of so many things. Why I can't just spend more time when she's telling me this and that? She is right. Why can't I just get it? That answer is here. Does that make sense? Make sense, guys? Now, you got to be all about it. You got to be so into it that you want it. I want it so much. That's why I'm not distracted. I don't have a lot of friends. I need a clear visual because this is what turns me on. This is what I want so bad. She's part of it. Now we're both even more. What you focus and give energy does what? It grows. It grows. You keep doing what you're doing, my brother. It's going to continue growing, and it's not sustainable. You can adjust it, work together on some of those strategies that we talked about just on a business conversation last night. It's all aligned. We take this crap home. We take the stuff from home. We bring it to the ecosystem of business. We started this, and we went up to 1,000 employees. Today, that company has what?
Almost like 1,800.
Think about it.
Yeah.
If your employee is coming to your workplace or your ecosystem, communicating with your customers, discussing strategies, executing on strategies, and they're coming from a lot of stuff that can be repaired at home, how do you think that can affect your company? Yeah, they're going to probably win like we're all scorers. We want to win Super Bowls constantly every day in our life. So if you practice it and you believe in it and then you give it time to start receiving some dividends, actual results, guess what, man? You're going to spread that whole gospel all over your ecosystem. Your life becomes about that. Scale, man. How do I scale this life? How do I just live in a Milky Way, man? That's winning. And remember, we didn't even talk about the money. The money will come with all that. Everybody's about the money. Money, 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 money. I want the girlfriend, I want the wife. Yeah, you're here with the dinner. Don't tell me about business. You don't even want to know. I'm having hard. The poor spouse, the poor girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, always gets the heap of Bobby coming home. They always hear the ugly, but all the other people hear the beautiful things about it. You tell me if that's damaging. How is that sustainable? And if you do that, you must be somehow, some way doing it in your own ecosystem outside your relationship. Hope that helps.
Hey, Bobby.
Yes, sir.
So, you saying that really gave me some clarity that I want to share. I've been guilty of something about those. Pay close attention, but, Amy and I, she's basically a stay-at-home mom. And, I'm obviously go business all the time. And I don't have I have friends, but they're all like business friends. I don't really have friends outside of business that I hang out. Everything I hang out is like somebody in Apex or somebody that works with me, or it's all business related, right? So it's very, and a lot of us will probably do that way. It's very intertwined in my life, right? So when I get home, maybe I'm excited about, you won't believe what Kate did on social media today with this, that, and the other, but it's falling deaf ears. It's probably what she cares about. She won't believe the how Ashley did on the school play today, or whatever the case may be, right? So that's her excitement in business. And it's not that I'm not interested, it's just that I'm in my own zone. It's like, yeah, this is what feeds the finances to the family, and sorry I couldn't be there. But just hearing you say that you guys went through that, I came up with a solution that we're going to implement. So a lot of you know, we'll talk about later when it's our turn, but a lot of you know about like the family huddle that we do with our kids and stuff.
Yep.
Later. But there's not been a time that we set aside a time to figure out what's up with the kids for the day. But now every night after that's over with, I want to have a 30-minute meaningful conversation like every night. It's nothing about, hey, here's what we made money today. Here's what's brought up. I want it to be about something that's not business, it's not household stuff, it's something that we actually communicate, which forces us to have a 30-minute conversation. It's not about the two things that we're always talking about. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I wrote down 30 minutes, no politics, nothing about the kids or the family, but and no work. Like actually have a conversation between the two of us. And we go on date night once a week. We go on date night once a week and do that. We don't really spend much time on the phones and stuff like that. But again, the conversation because of me ends up being a lot about because that's my whole life. And we got a lot of minutes always. But this, I think, is a good solution for using communication.
Absolutely.
And then we're obviously making sure that we're talking about something. We go back to talking work or whatever, like always after that. But at least we took that time every day to have something that we communicate that happened outside of the norm. So, that was like something I downloaded over here. So
It's, you bring up a good point. So I described my father, and I know some people, you know some people, and these are cool dudes. These are cool chicks. I think everyone's cool, man. We're all born, and we're cool, kind people. We just grow with some of this wrong type of leather. Check this out. You go home, you have the same type of conversations, normally about the business, about the negative, a lot of things that maybe you don't want to tell your population, your employees or whatever. But then we can fall victim that we go to the supermarket and we see this chick. And it's so pleasurable because it's a different conversation. It's not about the business. And then we fall victim, get distracted, and then, oh, I like this better. This has no friction. And we justify it. Then we start blaming. And then look at this, look at the devastation. And then we come here, no, she's the problem. And we come here, and then 4 years later, oh no, this is the problem. And the conversation is different. Remember, our conversations, when you go home, do not contaminate them. Do not screw it up. Human behavior, our DNA, we can create this momentum and this justification to call for stupid decisions. You can start convincing you of something that's really not there, because maybe the conversation is, to his point, like, wow, man, when I talk to her, man, it's all about, look at the sun and all this stuff. But when I go here, we're talking about the real Bobby and all this chaos. But over here, I'm pretending. See how you can see how we can just get lost? Yes. And then, is that sustainable? No. Of course not. It's going to crash. Horrible. And then guess what? If you have children, they can really crash in life and get some mudslides. Doesn't mean you have to stay together if you have children, I think. You don't want to do that. But you still got to be great examples and leaderships, because, my gosh, to be a father, I'm very sensitive to these freaking fathers that just, it's 2 seconds you can be a father. To be a father, man, is being there. You don't have to be married. You don't have to be together. But a father is a leader, man. You have taken responsibility, whether that was an accident, whether it's not. You have taken, and man, we can go down. The problem is us, dude. We're the solutions. It's so easy to fix. And everything then shines. You want money, money? All the money will come your way. All the money. And I can assure you, when it does come, it's not a big thing. That's when I know I'm in a good place, man. I'm so humble. I don't need the money doesn't, it's what I'm doing that fulfills me. Being the best I can be and constantly growing, allowing her to grow. My kids, my things, being nice to people. I'm a hugger, man. I want to hug. I want to share this freaking thing because I think we got something. I can keep going, sorry.
And
I'll start walking and...
Yeah, I'm going to put a little twist to what we were all just talking about business and not talking about business, being there present. I know Bobby used to be that person. I was in the business, but I was also a mom. So I used to come home and completely disconnect because I needed to give attention to my children. I needed it for me, and I know my children needed it. Bobby never disconnected. So I understand where you're coming from, but I want to throw a little twist here when it comes to spouses that don't work together in the same industry or have their own path of careers or homestay mom with and taking care of their children. I think the way to disconnect from work is when you get home or whenever you have that moment, just 5 minutes, whatever you want to do, let go of whatever happened at work that's keeping your head on it. Come home, you're not in the same business, correct? Okay, so get home and say, hey honey, you know what? Let me just give you a quick scenario of what's happening today. It could be happy, it could be sad, it could be exciting, it could be like disappointing, whatever it is, let it out. You know what happened at work today? We had 3 accounts, they went bad, I'm kind of pissed off, I'm not in the right state of mind, so please, dealt with me, let's let it out so that you could get it out of your inside of your body. That way she also knows what state of mind are you in so that then she could take on your personality for the day. And it doesn't mean that you're gonna bend to him. I'm not saying that, I'm just saying if you release what you have inside, and it could be that you're so excited, I got 10 accounts today, they're gonna create $100 million in our account. I'm just saying anything. And you're so excited, but she is in a bad place because she's been all day hustling with the kids, the house. She had to run around. She had a bad day. How is she going to be excited for you? So just letting out that 5-10 minute scenario of what happened in your day, both of you, because she could have had a bad day and she doesn't want to hear about your happy story.
Yeah.
Who gives a shit what you had that today? I had my 3-year-old driving me crazy, you know, threw up, had to take her to the doctor. I had all the bad days, so I don't care what. So if you both explain to each other real quick what happened for the day so that you could understand how to take your mood in the house that day, I think it releases you from that stress or from that wanting to keep connected to the job or the whatever you had at work going on, and you're able to go, okay, now it's family time.
Yeah, and then you
now
may want to
it's
ask her
us
opinion. Hey,
time.
babe, what do you think about this?
Yeah.
Even though she may have no clue, but I guarantee she has some good insights. So,
Expressing to each other what you're happy or sad or pissed off day or whatever it is. Quick scenario, guys. I'm not talking about staying on this all night, because you do have to have that sexy time, that wanting to be a romantic or wanting to be, again, boyfriend and girlfriend. Remember when you were boyfriend and girlfriend, how you would be excited about, oh my God, he's gonna come pick me up at 6 o'clock, and you want that excitement. Who doesn't?
Yeah.
That's the only way that your relationship could keep, you know,
and
hot
just like that
sexy,
example,
you
because I
know?
pick on us dudes, that little situation I did there, it can go other way too. She can say,
wow, that guy's giving me attention.
no, like,
He's
wow, what a
talking to
different
me.
conversation. Because when I'm with this Bobby, man, it's just so much
All about
heartburn.
work, he doesn't
Again,
care about me.
you turn the light switch
Yeah.
off. Keep it on, keep it on. Any more questions? Yes?
It's like I'm channeling you so hard, so I'm so glad you started there. And so I wanted to pick up, like, that's exactly where I'm at. And you can, like, I could use input. One of the things that's been hardest for me is, I mean, I'm definitely alpha. We have 2 separate businesses. We're both really big go-getters. But to be totally vulnerable, I've been at my business nonstop. I scaled it, I grew it. All the money starts there, which I wanted,
Yep.
we needed, and I wanted it. But we've almost, like, I can't take my eyes off of this damn business. I can't stop thinking about it. I'm not present with the kids, and I feel shame. I'm like, oh, I'm a mom. Like, to me, I think society is like, oh, daddy's busy. He's bringing home the bacon. But what happens when I've just not been able to disconnect, haven't been present? It's like I'm more interested.
Got it, yeah. No, I get it.
I'm more interested.
Sure.
It's coming at a cost, and then I'm over here questioning. I'm like, I must be just a shitty mom.
No.
Other moms are like, the kids are important. We pay attention. I'm like, you're important. You should watch this because I got something to respond to on DM. Like,
So what I would do, and we talked last night, you definitely got an incredible energy. So folks like you and I have to work a little harder.
yes.
It gets stronger. So, meaning it can get stronger, it just gets more of that. What I do, and I'm telling you, you're gonna have to work on it and try to figure this out. Take that lens, take time, back it way up. How is it to be with me? How is it, do I behave? And look at how all those non-refundable minutes, how you're spending them or investing them. You want to make sure you're investing them, because we spend a lot, guys, and it burn your energy and you don't get it back. And if you still can't see it, a few more days, back up. And sooner or later, you're going to see it. You're going to see, wow, adjustments. We are winners. We want to adjust in 24 hours. We want to change everything. And that's it. 24 hours, boom. It's great. That's our personality. That's our trait. Don't fall victim to that, because that's becoming what? Desperate. Become urgent about it, but not desperate. You are the only one that's going to help you from getting off that crack and working efficiently, because right now you're probably so upset, but I can almost assure you, you are burning wasted energy that you can preserve that energy and be more efficient.
Yeah, my advice to you, being a mom and being a businesswoman myself, that, you know, I've been in that spot. I used to come home at 8 o'clock at night, let's say 7, because I did stay at work late, but I used to cut it. And for a person like your personality that I've been getting to know you the 2 days, I would tell you, you need a cutoff time. for sure, because your kids do need you. I used to like to put my kids to bed. That was my mommy time, right? I would not spend a lot of time during the day with them, but bathing them and putting them to bed was me. That was what I wanted to do. So come a certain time, I don't know what time that's gonna be, 6, 7, 8, I don't know. You put a list together of what you are still missing, because I know your personality, because it seems very similar to his. He needs a list. Do a to-do list of what's missing for the next morning. You cut your time off. You spend whatever time you need for your children so that you could feel fulfilled and they get enough of mommy time. And you leave that behind until the next morning. If you need to wake up at 4 in the morning to get that off, then that's you. That's what you need to come to a point. But you do need to cut off.
How are you managing
Bobby
that time?
doesn't
We
know
talked
how
about
to
getting
cut
time
it
back.
off, right? I could cut off. I know how to balance my business and my personal and my family time. I could definitely balance, and that's where you come into the balancing. You have to have cutoff time.
I think it's that flash dancer thing, so I wanted to hear a little bit more about that.
Yeah.
Because I think with my energy and how I feel and radiate and stuff like that, I think it's like this psycho dopamine hit. So I wondered, how do you stop being a flash dancer?
Yeah. So it's amazing. This.
I don't think you're a flash. I don't think you're
I
a
can't
flash
stay
dancer
still,
at all.
you know.
You're not a flash dancer at all. No.
No, but I want to dig a little deeper in that
Yeah.
real quick. It's very important. This is a game changer. What matters? What matters? What is the clarity that each and every one of you have? We got to work on that. You have to work on it. What matters? You work on it. You work on it. Just like you work on that friggin' business, you work on it. You give this energy, you give it focus, it'll grow and your clarity will come in. What matters? Does a Gucci purse matter just because Vivian's wearing it? Does the Rockstar wedding matter? Does that emblem on that car matter? And then, of course, we can justify. No, that's how I get customers. Okay, that's called justifications. You're just fooling yourself. What matters? This is what I want you to do. You got to go out. You, like me, you're going to have to go out to space to see it. It takes, like I said, it takes us a lot of work. What really matters? And you'll find out, man, 90% of the stuff doesn't matter. What matters is right here. What matters is what we're building, what we want, our desires, our wants, our needs, our life. Not your life, not your life, not your life. I love you, you're awesome people, but it doesn't matter in my life. It doesn't matter what you think. Now think about what I just did. I cut out so much non-refundable minutes that I have been wasting, and that's why I've been friggin' stuck, frustrated, and not able to scale. Because if you're getting business based on that friggin' watch, you're out of your mind. That's why I'm very selective on my association. It'll take a lifetime to convince some flash dance of what I just said, because they don't have clarity, and you'll find out quickly. As soon as it hits you, and I don't know when it'll hit you, you're gonna say, wow. And then, new layer, you shed. You think you're a rock star now? It's just now, just a whole new version. It's deep. This is friggin' deep. But you gotta want it. If you want something, you gotta hold your breath, go down. If you can't get it on the first hold breath, it's okay. But guess what? Realize it's deeper than 6 feet, 10 feet. It's like one of those deep divers. You ever seen that? They go down like 1,000 feet. It's something like that. That is like, how can they do that? Wow, that's what? Discipline. Well, when you want something, man, and you have that clarity, you'll do it. That is the difference of winning. Do you understand? Most people have a label of winning so different. They're so friggin' shallow, it drives me bananas. I wish I can get a drug and just go around and slam everyone's vein with just PMA, because PMA, man, it's all about solutions. Because I grew up in a negative life. Every time I got away from it, I seen and I was about solutions, about value. There is no question each and every one of you should be exiting your business for unthinkable. You're thinking too small. You hear that name? You hear that word? It's loosely, get out there. Get out there. Get out, and do not be desperate. I got it, Bobby. And text me, I got it, I found it. No, for you, a couple months. Couple months. For other people, but you're like me. And maybe that's fast. It takes a lot of work.
Hearing this, like, your zoom out sounds like awareness of really being able to truly see your own patterns and where you're making the choices in your life to continue making it. And ultimately, it like destabilizes us, and then we're not stable in our leadership, communication. I feel like people are craving more communication, and we don't make a safe space for people to approach us. And then we don't feel safe approaching others. And then we're viewing, like we're talking about someone coming home and saying the day. I think then you gotta be careful, like, don't take their day personally. Don't take that on. Like, no, that's just a framework. That says nothing about me. That says nothing,
Yep.
And then the dopamine thing, it is a legit thing. And we get dopamine hits from food,
Yep.
and social media, and it's become a problem because now we don't have enough serotonin. And so it's like by breaking that through awareness, oh, I just went to my phone for a day. Just
Yep.
gradually break
I love it.
patterns, you'll start to build the serotonin level and you'll become less dopamine.
I talk a lot that in the book I wrote, Upsiders. It has nothing about the money factor. It's how to actually upside your life and everything that's associated with it.
Let me ask a question with all of this whole, it's going to be in the same platform here. How many of you as couples have goals for your personal, financial purposes for your family and for your business?
Cool.
And how many of you are aligned with it, that you know you have that, both of you, even though that you're in separate businesses, you're a housewife, whatever it is, both of you, both as a couple, have those goals ingrained in, you have core values toward them, and you know exactly that
Are
pathway.
they both of your goals, or 60% his, 40%? What about you, Anna?
It's a mix.
Okay.
We need more clarity on that. Like, we have goals that are long-term, 1 year, 3 year, 5
That's-
year. But I think we need to get more specific on what's the amount, what's the location, how are we going to get there step by step?
Yep.
And plan out the steps. And so maybe after the
Yeah.
trip, we zoom out.
Zoom out.
And get more clear on the actual steps. And when you know it's over, because if you don't have like a place that you know you've won or you've succeeded, then you don't quite even know how to get there.
Yep.
You don't know where you're headed.
You see a satellite, you ever see like the military satellites we see on TV? They see everything. Clearly, they know the strategy. That's a zoom out I'm talking about.
If you don't have the goals set, guys, that's going to be so important for both of you to be able to align with each other and being able, and I'm not picking at you, but just because you guys talked, for you to be able to feel, you know what? We know that that's the goal. I need to relax. I need to enjoy these little moments that you're never ever gonna get back. They're non-refundable minutes. When you really listen, and a lot of people think these are little corny little things that we have, the PMA all day, every day, the stack and rack, the non-refundable minutes. Those things have made our lives so much more easier to be able to achieve our goals and to understand our path with our
Because
children,
we have clarity, man. We have
with
so
our
much clarity.
relationship and with our business, that once you get that, both of you aligned, and you understand that it's there, we're going there, we have that highway. Like I just said, she's gonna have her lane, you have your lane. We're gonna get there. If we need to take a 5-minute break, it's okay. We're still in the pathway, we're still heading forward, but we need to take a break. There was
He
a
has
stop.
question. We're almost.
I'm really curious about the process of how you guys come up with that stuff. Like, what we do is like every year.
Can you talk a little louder?
Maybe.
Every year we
I got him.
away and write down the things that we want to do. Then we try to come together and figure out how can we make all these things happen for all of us.
Got it?
What do you
Okay, cool. How do you cut? Okay, so for example, and I'll ask the question back so I can have more clarity. Again, we're going clarity because I'm very cautious before I extend, because I want to make sure I don't misrepresent nobody, because this stuff you can do damage to relationships. I mean, this is some sensitive stuff. It's like, oh my God, how are we going to have sex tonight? I mean, this freaking guy just screwed it all up. You know, I mean, it is what it is. But we're here for a purpose, meaningful discussions. So when you do that, like, what is the strategy today? Yeah, so when you go away for that annual retreat, hey, let's have a look back. Now let's forward look. What's the strategy? Okay. Okay. Got it. Yeah, no, I get it. So you have all these bullet points and all these wants, needs, and desires for 2023. My only question to you, what's number one? Yeah, you got to have a list, right?
Well, number one, I mean, so for me, the number one thing is, honestly, I want to know what she wants so that I can help her get what she wants.
Got it.
That makes sense?
Yes, it does.
That's why I want us to go apart so that she can say, oh,
Great.
I want to, this.
No, I get it, dude.
That's what's most important for me.
The $1 million question, at least for Sophie and I think this beautiful person just talked about it. Sometimes we do get those communications, but we really don't get in there. And how you get in there, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. So my question is that sometimes we think we do that. Get in there a little bit more where you can have better, deeper, healthier communication. And then when that starts happening, clarity starts happening really good and things start taking off in a good way. So what I'm saying again, when you do have the communication, I don't know how deep you guys go, if you go really deep or you go shallow. You go shallow. So
Like at the beginning we were shallow, we dig in, but I do feel like it's a little bit of a bullet.
we all, yeah. We have a 100-year legacy plan. Yep. Yes, sir. We meet once a month. Then we have a quarterly review, not just us, but advisors and representatives, that part of our plan, our mission statement, which is a 100-year legacy plan. We have a 100-year legacy plan because there's a stat. High 70% chance when me and my awesome partner are no longer, and we're in some other on earth, wherever that is. I'm still trying to figure it out, you know? And that's good, man. That's, you know, yeah.
When you figure out, I want to let the rest of the world.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody asked.
So give or take 75% chance. This is a bona fide stat. Priscilla and Brandon blows it all. Okay. So we're on a 100-year legacy plan. We have a team of maybe 9 people behind the scenes besides us. We meet monthly, Sophie, I, and the family, and quarterly with that life coach that I mentioned. And then we have all these other advisors that are, you know, we have a family office internally. We have a family office outside. They preserve this and that. So we constantly, to answer your question, are on it. Again, because when you focus, what you focus on and what you give energy does what? It grows. So we're always on it, and then it becomes not about the business. It actually turns into more healthier. I don't know if I'm yeah, okay,
Yeah.
cool.
So we talked about getting kind of that initial clarity about your relationship, with your boundaries, with your business, and things like that, taking that lens way far out. Did you become regimented about how you were looking at it? Like, you know, you said that it took you a while to kind of figure out really what the future was. So did you every morning wake up and think, okay, how was I yesterday in my relationships and my conversations, and then write down notes and then kind of, you know, what was
Yeah.
your process?
So I talk about it a lot. I measure and gauge, at least myself. I don't know, Sophie. Every night I go to sleep, and I'm really, man, I like getting to another layer of a better version of Bobby. And it's amazing. At the end of the night, before you put your head down on the pillow, you know exactly the value you gave to your life. You know exactly the amount of time you wasted on social media, the amount of time of this or that, or responding to stupid joke text messages. I'm not criticizing. All this stuff that leads to nowhere. I measure and gauge myself with full transparency with myself of how I feel. It's so critical. When I started doing this lens out stuff and we started communicating, some time back, I would ask Sophie, and she would ask me, what can I improve on? What do you don't like? In the beginning, I could not even allow this individual to finish the first one without getting sensitive and emotional about it. I completely blocked it. We kept working on that, to the point where then I was open to it, and I shut the frig up. In the beginning, I just shut up because, okay, I'm shutting up, I'm listening. I really wasn't. So you go through many layers, many stages until you surrender. And then she would tell me this, and then I would look, and I would say, wow, man, I'm a mess to be with. I am ruining this relationship. I am stealing her identity. It's really all about me. I'm just giving you examples of many. So there is stages, going back, small adjustments. But the question is, when you'll have some great days, feeling so proud of yourself, and like saying, I could have been, always, what could I have done better to get more meaningful time? It's so important because we talked about it earlier. This awesome individual represents a lot of entrepreneurs in their financial planning. His job is to get them more time because, just like it's
I would
stages.
have to say that because I work on this myself too. It's again as having a goal. What is your end goal on that? What you want to fix of you or the relationship or whatever, right? You can't get there in one day. It's impossible. You have to work at getting there. So it's another goal. It's setting another goal. I want to be X. How am I going to get there? Every day I have to do something different. I have to change this. I have to implement this. And every day you get there. Once you get there, then that goal is,
a goal is, hey, let's not argue for 1 week. We've been through this many times, Sophie and I. So we start practicing that. It takes practice before buy-in gets in place. So question, in the last 5 days, how many couples here had an argument? Silly, stupid, small? Good. A good handful of you. Now that just leads to momentum. And then what? It leads to what habit? It leads to a habit. And it keeps going. And what we talked about, it gets stronger. It gets stronger. And you can damage it. Now, if you can damage your own household, what makes you think you're going to create a monster company? Yeah, it may get to 50 million, it may get to 100 million. And if that's your stop sign, that's fine. If that's your clarity, that's fine. No, that's not my clarity. That's not what I said, Bobby. Okay. Now we're talking about it. How? Because the better version of yourself has to come out. And if you don't think it matters, it freaking matters.
It matters. Yes.
Kindness is one of your core values, and non-refundable minutes are always on your mind. One of the things that I have a hard time with is balancing when to be kind and when to cut it off, because I feel this pressure, time is slipping away. A lot of people want your attention, and people want to talk to you, and they want advice from you and everything. How do you balance kindness with the pressure of non-refundable minutes all the time?
Yep. Ryan, I don't know if Ryan's here. Ryan knows this well about me. Man, when you know yourself, I don't know, maybe the pastor later on can dig into it. This energy force comes in. You know when you meet somebody, at least this is how I see, you can pretty much feel if it's blah, 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 or this and that. That's the first gauge of a measurement. I fade. I'm never rude, guys. I'm never rude. I get pitched all the time. I fade, just like I faded from a lot of family members. Never rude, never nothing, never complicated because it's wasted non-refundable minutes. It'll just get me not feeling good. I fade. So the first thing we have to do is once you find who the frig you are and you're happy with that, man, you're ready. Just like Bobby waited on tables. I was ready, man. I was serving on the same people. I was so ready. You start feeling this inner superpower of yourself, and that's how I navigate. Ryan knows me. I'm very sensitive to flash dancing here or there, and maybe not even flash dancing. So you got to filter out real quick because there's so much inbound that we do get, and I never make anybody feel not worthy. I always want to be kind because you just get yeses.
And
make sure you do that.
For something like that is one of Bobby's, because Bobby's more like that when he feels that they're pulling from him and that he's not receiving anything, he cuts. I'm more of the vulnerable, and I feel bad for everybody else. But when you start giving to somebody and you're not receiving value inside of you, that you're saying, oh my God, I am speaking to you guys, but you guys are absorbing it. You're doing what you're receiving, and we're seeing that response at, wow, look at that, that feels awesome. I told them to do XYZ, they did XYZ, and they have accomplished their goals, their this. When you see that you're receiving value from what the value you're giving, that's when you know, okay, this is good time. This is not non-refundable. I'm not losing my minutes. I am actually receiving value from these
And
minutes that I'm
just
giving.
just kindly say, hey man, my plate is full. Just something fade. And the more you give it energy, that conversation, and you want, what happens? And now you're stuck into something you don't want to be stuck in. Yeah.
Yes.
Kindness and directness get intertwined, and people take directness as not being kind.
Yes.
You can be direct and you can be kind.
Bingo.
And I think a lot of people feel like they have to extrapolate on a conversation because they have to explain their directness.
Exactly.
It's not required. So you can say what you need to say, and you can take your step back, and you can say it politely.
Yep.
And
Well said.
be respectful. But it doesn't make it not kind, because you're not in control of the way that they do it.
Yep. Yep.
So you can't be held responsible
Yep.
for the way that they receive your message.
Yep. Nope.
As long as you're giving them to in a manner that is respectful.
Yep.
So if they decide to have their feelings hurt, you can't take
Nope. As long as you know that, hey, I was cool and thank you, but no thank you.
So like I said, I think people are afraid to be direct because they're afraid of that secondary waiver.
I agree.
But they're not. You can absolutely be very short, very direct, and still be very respectful and very kind. And you shouldn't be afraid to do that.
Yep.
Well, guys, unfortunately, our time's up, so they're giving us the...
Sorry for going a little longer, Ryan.
But thank you so much. We're going to be around the whole weekend. If you guys want to sit and talk, and we're here, we love to be able to give you guys value and receive value from you.
Thank you, guys. Good job, babe.